Right now, 1 in every 10 people reading this is left-handed. That number should not exist. Evolution doesn't do roughly. A trait that helps you survive spreads until almost everyone has it, a trait that gets you killed vanishes completely, and a neutral trait should split the population straight down the middle, a 50-50 coin toss. Left-handedness does none of those things. For over 2 million years since the first stone tools were chipped for right-handed grips, the ratio has been locked at almost exactly 90-10. Every culture, every continent, every isolated tribe science has ever studied. For evolutionary biologists, that's a genuine headache. Something has been fighting to keep a small minority of humans left-handed for hundreds of thousands of years, protecting them from being bred out but never letting them take over either. If you're left-handed, you already know the world wasn't designed with you in mind. Cheap scissors fight you, spiral notebooks smear ink across your hand, power tools, car consoles, game controllers, almost everything is tilted toward the right-handed majority. Historically, that majority wasn't just indifferent, it was hostile. The bias is baked into language itself. The English word for sinister comes from the Latin word for left. The French word for left, gauche, is the same word we use today for someone awkward or clumsy. Left-handedness was treated as a bad omen, a defect, something to be stamped out. Right up until a few decades ago, teachers would physically tie a child's left hand behind their back, forcing them to write with their right hand until the problem corrected itself. But annoying scissors and old prejudices are nothing compared to the real mystery underneath, a biological puzzle that human bias can't explain. Evolution runs on simple math. A trait that helps you survive dominates the species. A trait that hurts you gets deleted from the gene pool. A neutral trait lands close to 50-50. Handedness has done none of that. Natural selection has held this exact 90-10 split in place for hundreds of thousands of years, generation after generation, without ever letting it grow. For a long time, scientists assumed handedness was just a habit. You watched your parents use their right hand, so you copied them. That idea has been completely dismantled. Handedness is physically written into your biology before you're even born. Between roughly 8 and 12 weeks into a pregnancy, the left and right sides of a developing fetus's spinal cord start expressing genes differently. The spine rigs the motor circuitry to favor one side before the brain even gets a vote. Ultrasound studies show most fetuses suck their right thumb in the womb. And it's not down to a single lefty gene. Large-scale genomic studies from 2025 and 2026 revealed handedness is the product of over 40 different gene variants, many of them tubulin genes, the microscopic scaffolding that shapes how our cells grow. This isn't a habit, it's architecture, laid down before you take your first breath. Now look at the rest of the animal kingdom. Watch chimpanzees or gorillas in the wild. They use their hands constantly, cracking nuts with rocks, fishing termites out of mounds with sticks. But they don't show a 90-10 split. The primate world runs close to 50-50. Humans are the outlier, and it comes down to 2 massive shifts: walking upright and talking. A landmark 2026 Oxford study examining over 2,000 primates traced the mystery back to bipedalism. Once our ancestors stood upright, our hands were freed from locomotion, creating intense pressure to specialize how we used them. Around the same time, our brains rapidly expanded and long language emerged. Your brain is lateralized, meaning certain high-level tasks are locked into just one hemisphere. For most people, the left hemisphere runs language and speech. Talking and tool-making both demand fast, high-level processing, so evolution bundled language, speech, and fine motor control together in the left hemisphere to keep things efficient. Because of a quirk of anatomy, the left hemisphere controls the right side of the body. That neurological shortcut is why humanity defaulted to right-handedness. In a hunter-gatherer tribe, that default setting was a genuine survival advantage. Early humans made it through ice ages and apex predators through relentless, synchronized cooperation. Everything was shared. If your entire tribe carries identical right-handed spears and tools, anyone can grab a fallen companion's weapon mid-fight and use it instantly. Tool-making was precise too. A right-handed strike flakes stone in a predictable direction. A left-handed toolmaker striking the same stone core from the opposite angle produces a completely different pattern, ruining the tool for a right-handed tribe relying on standardized equipment. In a world where a split-second mistake meant starvation instead of a kill, being the left-handed outlier in a right-handed hunting party was a real liability. By the brutal logic of cooperative survival, left-handers shouldn't exist at all. So if left-handers carry any hidden advantage, why didn't they ever multiply past 10%? The answer is frequency-dependent selection. A trait's value depends entirely on how rare it is. Any rare advantage only works because it's unexpected. If left-handers became common, say 50% of the population, that surprise disappears completely, and any edge vanishes overnight. This locks handedness into equilibrium. If left-handers' numbers drop too low, the few remaining become harder to predict, gain an edge, and push numbers back up. But if their numbers climb too high, that edge evaporates and the everyday disadvantages of a right-handed world drag their numbers back down. For hundreds of thousands of years, two opposing forces have kept this locked in perfect balance: the constant pressure toward cooperation pulling humanity right, and a quieter, rarer advantage protecting the left. That 90-10 ratio isn't an accident. It's the exact point where those two ancient forces still meet today.